You're listening to Bold Hearts, Big Moves, the show for female entrepreneurs who want it all: a thriving business, deep self love, and fulfilling relationships. I'm Erin Anderson, and each week we will dive into how to set stronger boundaries, make empowered choices, and show up in life and business with boldness, authenticity, and heart. Because let's be real, the money you make is directly related to the love that you have for yourself and the strength of your relationships. So if you're ready to lead with love and make those big moves with those bold hearts, let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bold Hearts, Big Moves. And let me just say, first and foremost, I have to apologize because it has been a while since I've posted an episode. I did take a little bit of a sabbatical from my business and from well, actually a lot of things actually. Just kind of stepped away from my business for a little bit, just simply because I needed some time to regenerate and rethink. Um, and a lot of people will say that that is burnout, but actually, I think that it was more of an opportunity to give myself some clarity. Because I think with burnout, sometimes we don't want to come back, or we feel like it was too much, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if I'm going to be totally honest with you, that is exactly kind of how it felt. Like I just kind of felt like things were going a little too fast and I was having a hard time keeping up with things. But the intention was always to give myself some time, just a little bit, and I would come back full force. And it gave me some time to reflect on the way that I want to do my business and the why of my business. And I've been doing business for 15 years now, and I can honestly tell you that one of the things that I've learned, and was one of the first things I've learned, is the two key, like one the there are some key ingredients in your business, but the two that I can really think of at the moment is your ideal client. You need to know what your ideal client is, how they think, how they react, like where they're at, uh, how you help them, etc. But also your why. And I think that I kind of got away from my why a little bit. Um, when we do business, of course, we want to create an income or cash or dreams or something. And sometimes we can get a little discouraged when those things don't come our way as quickly as what we would like them to. And, I think we've all felt that before, especially in today's economy. One of the things that I think is keeping almost everybody awake is how am I going to make tomorrow's bills? How am I going to create the money that I need for this or that? Or I would really love to do this with my family, and where's the money coming from? And you know, I I totally understand that. Like I have been there, and to be honest with you, like if I'm going to be totally honest, I think that's also part of the reason why my business, why I needed to take a break from my business for a bit. Because it's wonderful. I've earned six figures in my business, and it was a wonderful feeling to know that I could do that. But that's not why I created my business. And I think I got a little too focused on it and too wrapped up in that result that I wasn't thinking about the reason why I actually created my business in the first place. And the reason why I created my business, the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because I actually do want to help people. I'm good at helping people heal trauma or look at it or reframe it in a different way. So that way it no longer plagues them. I'm good at helping them understand themselves in a way that they never have before to set those unbreakable boundaries. So that way, they always have a way forward. They always have momentum. And I'm actually good when once those two things are cleared up, I'm actually good at helping them restructure their money. So that way they can pay off debts, create more cash, and feel more aligned and at ease with their money. And the reason being is because money isn't something we're meant to focus on. We're meant to focus on our relationships. We're meant to focus on our goals and our dreams. And yes, money is a piece of that. But I think that too often we think that that's the end all be all and not actually focusing on the dream, like what it is we really, really do want. And I got caught up in that. I really did. Luckily, my podcast, this particular podcast hasn't reached a ton of listeners yet. It will. Um, but it because there's not a lot of listeners yet, I was able to take a break and really restructure and realign with my message and what it is that I really truly do want to do in life and how I want to help. And that means that I had to take a look at what I was doing with my podcast and what was aligning and what wasn't. Because I want this to be a way for people to come and get help and support in the very best, and one of the best possible ways. Because I also understand and realize that not everybody is ready to invest with me. And that's why I wanted to create this podcast, is so that way I could still help those people that were in that position, um, and give them opportunities to open themselves up to do more. And so that's created restructuring for me. That's created a different aspect for me. Like, I've realized that with this podcast, I love having guests because some of my guests are just so wise and so cool. And I still have a lot of guest podcasts that I need to upload and give to you guys. But I also really want this to be an opportunity for me to connect with you, my listener. And I don't think I can do that if I'm constantly posting guests and promoting guests. I want this to be an opportunity for me to talk to you and to to make sure that I personally am helping you with the things that you're going through. Because I guarantee some of you are in the same position I've been in, where you're trying so hard and you're working so hard. You know that you have something that's unique. You know that you have something that's special. But you really do want to create an income with that. And sometimes that gets really frustrating to want to create that income when it's not being created in the timelines that we think it should be. Or maybe you're struggling with a relationship right now and they don't like, possibly it could be your husband, it could be your parents, it could be your kids, and you just don't feel seen, heard, or understood. And that can definitely get in the way of your ability to create. And as women, we are natural creators. We take what is given to us and we create something beautiful with it. It is so incredibly natural to us to do that. But maybe we don't feel like we have all the ingredients yet. If you're like me, I love to cook. It's actually a lot of fun for me. But it drives me crazy when I go to cook something and I know I'm going to make this like gourmet meal and I find out that one of my kids has stolen and eaten some of my necessary and main ingredients. Drives me crazy, guys. Like, oh, drives me nuts. And then I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to create. I don't know how to restructure. And it was a little bit like that with my business recently. And stepping away has helped me realize that the whole point was just to feed my audience. So that's what I'm coming back to do. And in today's episode, I'm going to talk about like breakthrough to brilliance. And I get like that might be a super generic name, and maybe there's other podcasts out there that have the same title in one of their episodes. But the truth of the matter is burnout. Burnout happens when we don't have the right focus on our business. When we're struggling to trust the process, struggling to trust that we're going to be able to find the clients, struggling to trust ourselves or our the people that are around us, our spouses, our kids, our key relationships. When we're struggling to trust, especially as women, it can be very devastating. It's hard to create from that space because as women, we have to have the ability to trust other people in order for us to get in and create things. Coming from the space of, helping women through betrayal trauma. Um, I've realized a few things. Like one of the biggest questions that was asked to me in betrayal trauma was, how do I trust him again? How do I trust myself again? How do I trust this situation? How do I trust? And I honestly think that that is a question that we as women have to ask a lot because women are very different from men. I mean, yeah, I know, like, let me blow your mind, right? Go figure. But women have historically been preyed upon by men and men that don't have good intentions, or sometimes even women, like other women sometimes prey upon us. And so it's natural for us to wonder if we're safe. And we have to have some type of trust with those that we're around in order for us to feel safe enough to create the things that we want to create. Whether that be a romantic relationship, whether that be a business, whether that be anything, trust has to be there to some degree in order for us to move forward. You know, this is part of the reason why I say, putting things on pause isn't always a bad thing. just make sure you come back to it, right? And it gives you the opportunity to kind of lay things out in front of you and take a look at your results, take a look at your intentions, take a look at all of the things that are in front of you so you can see what it is that you need to trust, maybe what you shouldn't trust, and what are your next moves. It is so natural for a woman to close up shop once in a while and allow herself some space and some time. Now, luckily, I have that ability with my business to be able to kind of close up shop. Not all business owners have that ability. And I understand that. Sometimes if you're running a brick and mortar store or uh, if you're even doing some sort of entrepreneurship in somebody else's company, you don't always have the opportunity to step away, put earning money and workload and things like that on pause for just a minute while you take a breather, while you step back, while you realign. But I do think that there is something to be said, and I think this kind of goes into the time boundary, to be honest with you, for giving yourself intentional time to close up shop. Taking a look at your schedule and stepping away from everything. Because if we don't, I think especially as women, we do tend to burn out. And then we ask ourselves, is there any point in me even trying to come back? As creators, that's a very scary place for us to be in. So I think it's really important that we take intentional time to realign with ourselves. Now, what does that look like? Is the question. Well, for me, like I said, I did have to step back for just a little bit and reassess, kind of like an artist does when they're creating this grandiose piece of art. Sometimes they have to keep stepping back just to see how the finished product is looking. For you, though, it might look like taking time every morning just for yourself, where your husband and your kids aren't around, and doing journaling, or heck, maybe you just want to watch a movie by yourself without somebody bothering you. That's natural, that's normal. It's important that we balance that. Maybe you decide you want to do some journaling. Maybe it's time to connect with God. I think that we have so many different things as women that are placed upon us that sometimes it feels overwhelming. And if we don't take the time to close ourselves up and just be, we can tend to try to be holding way too many things and dropping every last single one of them. And the problem with that is we take that then as proof that we're not meant to do our business, or we're not meant to create the thing that we say we want to create, or that it'll never happen, and we give up hope. For me personally, closing up shop has given me the opportunity to align with what kind of feeling I want to create my business with. What kind of pace do I want to create my business with? What kind of life do I actually want to live? And am I living it now? Everything that we want to create is created at a much higher frequency than burnout. And if we're putting burnout into our business or into our lives or into our families or whatever it is, if that's in there, it's a good idea to step back and ask ourselves why. What have we actually been focusing on? Why did we spend our energy in places that weren't actually serving us. Stepping back and giving yourself some room is a wonderful thing, especially when you're feeling frustrated. Remember that all emotions are the they're the bridge between our subconscious and our conscious. When we pay attention to what we're feeling, and if we are feeling frustrated or hopeless or etc., with what it is that we say we want, and we wonder if we're ever going to get there, giving ourselves time to step back and evaluate why we feel the way we do also can help us create new boundaries. And that gave me an opportunity to do that very thing, stepping back and really reprocessing like the direction I want to take my business, how I want things to be done. And I realized that I don't want stress in my business. I want peace. That's something that I can create with or without the income that I say I want. The income will come. I don't need to worry about it. I actually really don't. And the reason I don't need to is because I have faith in my message. And I have faith in my clients. And I have faith in me. And I have faith in God. And all four of those things together means that it's not something I have to worry about. I am going to keep showing up. I am going to keep refining my message. I'm going to keep standing and helping men and women, mostly women, because I like my sisters. But I'm going to help people heal. Heal their money stories, heal their trauma, and heal the relationship that they have with themselves. And the boundaries that I have found by stepping away and giving myself some space with the knowledge that I was coming back no matter what is I get to be consistent, but I got to also define what consistency means to me. Some people look at consistency as constantly posting on social media, constantly doing this, constantly, constantly, constantly. And I noticed, that definition of consistency wasn't a fit for me. My consistency is I'm going to be consistent and caring about my people. I'm going to let that show in my messaging. That's going to be what I focus on, not how often I'm posting, not uh, how often I'm marketing, etc. What is going to be consistent with me is just showing up and caring a lot. That is the new boundary that I have set. And I think a lot of people do this, especially around this time of year where they're looking at, okay, well, this is the year's results. This is what I want next year. What's my word for the year, right? And mine for this year is going to be consistency. But if we're going to pick a word, define it well. Because what consistency looks like to some of my very best friends and some of my other coworkers, some of my other colleagues, creators, co-creators, it's not the same type of consistency for me. I want to be consistent, but what do I want to be consistent with? My wonderful listener, today I'm not here trying to tell you that you need to close up shop and step away from everything you're doing. I had to, for my own energy, to protect my own energy. It was something that was necessary. But you don't have to do that. What I am saying is be mindful. Be mindful of your energy. Be mindful of where you are. Be mindful of your mind and your thoughts and why they're there. Be mindful of your fears. What are they? Are you afraid of not having enough? Because if you are, you will burn yourself out. Are you afraid of not making some sort of financial deadline or goal? You will burn yourself out if that is your focus. Today, I'm going to encourage you guys to step back and really think about why you entered business in the first place. What is it that you want to create for the world? And what kind of alignment do you want to create for your clients? What kind of message do you want them to get with the business that you are creating? And where you're the golden goose, you're the one that's producing these golden eggs. What does care look like for you? Instead of demanding that you produce so many golden eggs, pace yourself well. Give yourself opportunity to pick one goal, one thing, and move forward with that until that project is taken care of and over. Love yourself well, because self-love is the energy of creation in money. If you guys ever listen to Mary Morrissey, this is one of her biggest things that she teaches is that the creation of money is the energy of love. It's the same thing. And if we forget that, or if we lose focus, or we live in fear, we're not going to create the things that we say that we want. We can trust instead when we live in love and we love what we're doing and we infuse love into the things that we create. We can trust that the universe will bring to us abundance in all kinds of various forms. So today, that's what I'm doing. In my podcast, I'm going to be doing a lot more just one-on-one kind of posts, and I'm going to be the main person speaking to you from now on. I still have some guests, and I will still allow guests on, but I'm going to be a lot more intentional with the guests that I bring onto this podcast because I really, really want this podcast to be something that serves well. And my loves, please, if you feel the need to reach out, you can message me through this podcast. If you have questions, concerns, let me know what's going on in your life, because it's one way that you guys can reach out to me. If you message the show, you can do that. And I'm going to encourage you to. If you love what you're hearing and if you have questions and that you would like me to address personally, let me know. Because from here on out, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be here for you. Unashamed, unafraid, and I'm going to stand strong for you. So I'm back. Thank you so much for being patient with me as I realigned and as I'm opening back up again. And I hope that from here on out, I give you the best content that absolutely knocks your socks off and that gives you your next steps forward for the rest of the week. And if you guys do want some support, like I said, feel free to message the show. You're also welcome to email me, Erin Anderson at erinanderson-coaching.com. Let me know how I can help. And until then, I'll see you ready and renewed next week, my loves. Bye.
All right, Boundary Boss babes. I'm super excited that you tuned in with me today. Make sure you tune in again next week as we chat about more Boundaried Boss Babe topics. We're going to get into so many other things about how to set boundaries with your business, how to set boundaries with your relationships, so you can truly have the time, the money, and the flexibility that you are seeking. So tune in next week. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Let your other Boss Babe friends know about it. And also, if you've got any questions, make sure you submit them into the podcast by clicking on the Send Us a Text message at the bottom of the podcast description. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. See you later, Boss Babes.